When the President of the United States steps out of the White House, they become the single most heavily guarded person on the entire planet. But what does it actually take to move that one person from one country to another? Well, we're going to pull back the curtain on what is, without a doubt, the world's most complex, expensive, and frankly mind-boggling travel plan. You know, we see the friendly waves on the news, the handshakes on the tarmac. It all looks so simple, right? But behind that single moment is an operation that makes hosting the Olympics, an event for millions of people, look like a walk in the park. Seriously, the planning for a single 15-minute walk by the president is more intricate than all of that. So, what does it really take? It's a massive mission. We're talking thousands of people, military-grade hardware, and a budget that could probably run a small country. Let's peel back that curtain, and I'll show you every single step of this incredible process, from the very first memo to the final motorcade.
Right, so this isn't some last-minute booking on Expedia. Unless it's an absolute emergency, a presidential trip begins its life as a meticulously planned operation almost 4 months before any plane ever leaves the ground. And it all kicks off with just one meeting.
It all starts in the West Wing, where the president's top advisors hash out the plan. Once he gives the green light, a formal presidential decision memo makes it official. That memo then triggers what's called a trip directive order, which is basically a detailed command sent out to every government department you can think of, from the Secret Service to the military. And out of that order, a special unit is born, the Advanced Survey Team. Okay, this is where the real work begins. Months before the visit, this Advanced Survey Team lands in the host country. Their job isn't just to plan, it's to meticulously dissect every single second of the future trip. These guys are the architects of a mobile fortress, and they map out everything from the airport tarmac down to the presidential hotel room. And this is where you start to see just how obsessive the level of detail really is. They don't just pick a route on Google Maps. No, they drive it again and again. It has to be wide enough for the entire convoy to pull a U-turn if needed. It can't have any blind spots. They even calculate the sun's position at the exact time of day to make sure it won't be in the driver's eyes. And maybe most critically, a top-tier emergency hospital, a level 1 trauma center, has to be reachable within a 20-minute drive no matter what. Now, for the airport, the team doesn't just use it. They basically occupy it like a military base. An entire section gets locked down. They confirm the runway's dimensions down to the inch, and they even take fuel samples and fly them back to a U.S. lab to test for impurities. Then they map out sniper and observer positions on every single high point for miles around. It is all about controlling every single variable. The hotel basically transforms from a public space into a private fortress. The floors directly above and below the president's suite are completely cleared of all guests. They set up not one, but 2 identical kitchens, just to ensure a backup meal is always ready. A mobile lab tests every single bite of food. Oh, and every single hotel employee, from the manager to the cleaning staff, has to undergo a brand new security check. Okay, let's fast forward to the final phase, just days before the visit. The host country and a second U.S. team take the blueprint from the advanced team and start to lock down the city. And this is where the security measures go from just meticulous to, frankly, almost unbelievable. All right, let's start with one you probably didn't expect. In areas where monkeys could be a nuisance, the security solution wasn't nets or fences. Nope. It was to hire men who could perfectly imitate the sounds of larger, more aggressive langor monkeys to scare the smaller ones away. I'm not kidding. The control of the environment is just absolute. To prevent any possible disruptions, anyone on a watch list, known activists, or sometimes even beggars in the vicinity of the presidential route are often preemptively detained and moved somewhere else until the visit is over. And that control extends to the airspace. It's not just a no-fly zone for planes. They deploy special kite catcher teams to rooftops, and their only job is to intercept anything that drifts into the air. We're talking everything from a stray party balloon to a child's kite. So all these measures come together to create this massive, multi-layered security bubble, often 10 to 15 kilometers wide. Think of it like concentric rings of steel. The outer layer is the local police, then you get paramilitary forces, then elite commandos, and at the very, very heart of it all, forming a human shield around the president, are over 300 U.S. Secret Service agents. So all of that planning protects the perimeter, but what about the hardware at the center of it all? This isn't just about people. It's a whole fleet of highly advanced, purpose-built machines, and they're all flown in on military cargo planes days before the president even shows up. First up, a quick clarification. Air Force One actually isn't one specific plane. It's the official call sign for any Air Force aircraft that the president is currently on. It's basically a flying command center, complete with a private suite, conference rooms, a medical facility that can handle surgery, and communication systems that are hardened against the electromagnetic pulse of a nuclear blast.
And you've probably seen this famous briefcase, the nuclear football. It is always within arm's reach of the president. Now, it doesn't have a big red button, but it does hold the equipment and decision-making papers, including authentication codes known as the biscuit, that allow the president to authorize a nuclear strike from literally anywhere on Earth. Now, on the ground, the president moves inside a rolling fortress. The full motorcade can have dozens of vehicles, but let's talk about two key players. First, there's the watchtower, which projects this electronic bubble that can jam remote bomb detonators and detect incoming drones. And then there's the Roadrunner, which is a fully encrypted mobile communications hub, keeping the entire convoy securely connected to the White House. And at the very heart of that convoy is the Beast. And let me tell you, this is not a car. It is a tank disguised as a limousine. It's built on a truck chassis and weighs over 9,000 kilograms. Its armored doors are heavier than a Boeing 757 cabin door. The glass is 5 inches thick and can stop armor-piercing bullets. The cabin is hermetically sealed against a chemical attack, and it even carries a supply of the president's own blood type for emergency transfusions. So after months of planning and an entire army of people and hardware, the president finally arrives. But there's still one last incredible security detail to cover, and then, of course, the big question that hangs over all of it. What does this actually cost? This might be the ultimate illustration of the security mindset. Absolutely nothing can be left to chance. The president does not use the hotel bathroom. A special portable unit is brought along on the trip, and all of the president's biological waste is sealed up and flown back to the United States. And why? To prevent foreign intelligence from collecting his DNA or analyzing it for any clues about his health. So what is the bill for all of this? Well, the White House never releases official figures, but a widely cited report during one of President Obama's visits pegged the cost at $200 million for a single day. $200 million. To really put that number into perspective, think about this. $200 million is roughly the entire daily economic output, the GDP, of a country like Nepal. The cost of protecting one person for 24 hours is the same as the value created by nearly 30 million people in that same amount of time. It's just a staggering thought. It's an almost unimaginable mobilization of resources, intelligence, and power. So the next time you see that simple wave on TV, you'll know the hidden truth. That it's the final visible moment of the most complex trip on Earth. And it's all part of the ultimate price for keeping just one person safe on the world stage.